Welcome to episode 46 of A Shot of Business Central and a Beer podcast. In this episode, we're going to be sharing the latest news and updates on Business Central. We're going to be talking about Business Central cloud performance with upgrades. We'll be reviewing the Bing Maps app for Business Central. And as always, we're going to be trying a different beer. Happy February, Ken. What about this weather we've been having lately?
I don't know. It's been, I guess, warmer than average.
Yeah, a lot of rain though the other day.
That's
some
a positive.
ice rain. Yeah, definitely. I'm loving it.
Although in the most areas, February and March are still winter, right?
Yeah. I think we got another one or two major storms that we can probably see by the time February's over. So,
but it is a great sign that we're here drinking. You brought in today Conway's Irish Ale. I assume in a
celebratory manner
for St. Patrick's Day coming up.
Yes, sir. Right, probably the biggest drinking holiday I would imagine throughout the year. I could be wrong. I know that.
That's a good question. I don't know about you, but I grew up in my family is all from the Chicago area, in the south side, suburbs. So there's you had
big
the
Irish
South Side Irish, and a lot of proud Irish neighbors and friends, and so for me, growing up, St. Patrick's was always a huge celebratory day.
Nice.
So I don't know.
Are you any Irish at all?
Not me personally, but a lot of friends and and cousins and things like that. Yeah. Some
of my closest friends are Irish, and they kind of live up to the stereotype when they drink. They can really drink, and they enjoy it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So it was always a big as you get older, less and less so, right?
Right.
But it's still a good reason to celebrate in March when it's not quite the 4th of July yet.
Yeah. All right. So like you said, we're drinking Conway's Irish Ale from Great Lakes Brewing Company. I think we've had I don't know for sure at least two other beers from Great Lakes Brewing Company.
Yep.
So it's pretty popular. And then I looked up what is an Irish ale because I'm not really formally educated on beer. You know what I mean? So I wanted to know. And what it said was it's a style of pale ale that is brewed using moderate amount of kilned malts. I hope I'm saying that right. Kilned malts. All right.
Kilned?
And roasted
like
barley.
In an oven?
KILNED.
Yeah, roasted in a kiln.
Yeah, and roasted barley. So, not too bad. And then what's interesting is I saw that a lot of Irish ales are red in color.
Probably that roasting of the malt.
I mean, I would say this has got a little bit of red tint to it. Copper, maybe. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Like, what's the old red? Killian's, right?
Yeah.
For a year, Killian's Irish Red was a very popular Irish ale.
This one's got a great smell to it. I'm really liking it.
Yeah. So I have kind of a challenge for you with this beer today. And that is, I was reviewing through some of the reviews on beeradvocate.com. And, there was a lot of mostly positive comments about it. Mm-hmm. Terrific example of an Irish ale, malty, toasty, and a nice bite. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. But this was one thing that caught my eye is there was the disparity in opinions about the sweetness of this beer.
Sweetness?
As examples, Burn Star, we'll start on this end of the spectrum. Burn Star says, not sweet, but well balanced.
Okay.
Clark Bar 3 said it's modestly sweet. BJB 13 says it's full malt semi-sweet flavor. H-Man 43 says sweet throughout the taste with bitterness at the finish. And RDev says rich, sweet maltiness.
I tend to agree with that last one and the other person who said that it is full malt flavor with a little bit of sweetness. I get the full malt flavor to me, and it also has a little bit of sweetness. That's just my opinion. Obviously, my palate is probably the worst around. But
I think it's sweet.
Yeah? Like really sweet though? Like
I'm not sure what Burn Star, what they were looking for. but not sweet.
But would you put it on the same level as like the beers that have like fruit in them, like Berry Weiss or?
It's up there, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe this is why there's such disparity, because I
Compare
would put
it to like the
Summer
Asian pils or lager that we had. It was like really dry, crisp, effervescent.
Yeah, had more of a beer taste to me, that one though, I guess.
Yeah. This is
so
sweet maltiness.
Yeah. Now I wouldn't put it up there with the Summer Shandies or the Berry Weisses or any of that other fruity beers. But it's definitely got some sweetness to it.
Yeah, maybe not. Some of those are a little crazy though.
Yeah. So on the internet, it's funny because I looked up on the website this beer, and on the website, obviously they put things that this pairs well with. Any guesses what it pairs well with, being an Irish beer?
Yes, I do. Corned beef and cabbage?
Yep. Stews. And a hard day's work, it says.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
Bangers and mash?
Yeah. Oh, but it's good. It's 6.3% alcohol, 25 IBU, so not bitter at all. The hops in it are Northern Brewer, Mount Hood, and Willamette.
Yeah, those are unique. I kind of look at the different hops that are used in most of the time.
Yeah.
Those are different hops than we're used to seeing when we're drinking like an IPA or an American Ale or something.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I think that this is one of the ones where, so the flavor, according to Great Lakes Brewing, is, it's stationed at the intersection of sweet and toasty, where biscuit and caramel malt flavors always have the right of way. I don't get the biscuits, but
it means bread, that bready.
Yeah. I don't get that in the taste though for some reason. I get the malt, I guess, but not the.
Any horse blanket?
No horse blanket.
No.
Still have got to find another one of those. But I think that the flavor profile that they're describing is kind of dead on for once. Usually, when I hear a flavor profile from whatever, to me, it's complete opposite of what I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But dead on. So beer, I forget, gives it a score, 86, which is very good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'll probably be lower than that. But
you're going to be lower than that?
But it's good. It's tasty.
It's not your style of beer?
I full disclosure to the audience today, I did donate a pint of blood about 2 hours ago. So this is kind of like, I kind of feel like a lab rat a little bit to see what is the impact of drinking beer.
Hey, replace one pint with another pint.
I'm going to guess that it's ill-advised, right?
Yeah, I think if you have a couple beers, you might feel it a little bit more than normally.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that they would say that's a bad idea, Ken.
Hey,
but,
it's food.
Live and you learn.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, what do we got up next? We're going to be talking about the latest Business Central news.
Looking forward to it. All right, welcome to a shot of Business Central as we drink our beer. Before we get into some of the news and updates related to Business Central and the community, we would like to issue a public service announcement of sorts for any users of Dynamics NAV or Business Central on-premise. A little bit a while ago, relatively recently, Microsoft became aware of a security vulnerability with on-premise installations where they disclosed this, where an attacker has the ability to execute code on the host server, basically the service tier that's running, the service tier that's installed on the server. It's basically an quote, insufficient validation of user-supplied inputs. So Microsoft has basically gone out and created a new platform update for every version of NAV through Business Central, from NAV 2013 R2, where they created this new service tier technology, through NAV 2018, and also Business Central version 14 through 21 on premise. So there's a new cumulative update available Microsoft strongly recommends that everyone complete a platform update. It doesn't mean you have to update your whole database to these new executables, but you don't need to update your whole database, right? You don't need to upgrade to a new version.
Yeah, just a hot fix, basically.
Apply these hot fixes to your executables so that you're on the latest cumulative update for your application tier.
And if you need help with it, how do people get help?
Well, I mean,
we get to plug ourselves finally.
I'm sure we're not the only ones out there who's, were caught a little bit off guard, and this was a little bit unexpected. But, if you're running, we have completed many updates for our customers. And you asked a good question as we're preparing. It's like, well, I've been running NAV 2013 or 2016 or 2018 for years. And we've been fine. Why do I really need to do this?
Yeah.
And, I think the answer is you should, yes, because it's possible that someone just recently discovered this vulnerability and then published something on the dark web or somewhere, and now word is out that these systems can be hacked. And there is this way to get in and create havoc. So I think, and again, it's not something that typically is going to take, weeks and weeks to get done.
No.
It may take a couple days. You may want to apply these to your test environments first, make sure everything's still running smoothly and everything, and then deploy it over a weekend or something. So there may be a little bit of
different for every customer
disruption for you, or you weren't expecting this, but you really should. In order to make sure that you're protected.
Yeah, reach out to us at itsupport@solstice.com if you need help.
What do we got for Business Central looking on a more upbeat and forward-looking?
All right. So recently, Business Central 21.4 update for 2022 R2 was released. And, really not too much, just one major feature change called reuse launch configurations across workspace projects. So I'll read you a little bit what it says because this is more development and out of my area of expertise. It says, with Business Central version 21.1, you can add a launch property to a code workspace or in the settings.json file. This allows for a centralized configuration of projects. A local launch.json file overrides the workspace and global configuration. What it means, I don't know. Any idea?
I think it's just a way to quickly deploy multiple environments more quickly, so you don't have to redo everything every time you deploy an environment. I'm not sure if it's really applicable for an end user or not. Maybe if you have like 100 different environments, right? Independent environments at franchises or something, and they're all running separately, and you want to kind of redeploy a Business Central tenant to each one.
All right. I can go with that. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. And then we got, sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah, a couple other updates too.
Go for it.
Well, the ability to restore deleted environments. So
these though aren't applicable, whatever.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. Yeah, these aren't specific to update 21.4, right? These are happening regardless of whether or not your environment is updated. So if you have 21.3 or whatever other version, these are still going to be installed.
Because they're kind of part of the administration center and service base. Yeah. Okay. But if you're on BC Online, I mean, I guess technically you could still be on 21.3.
Yeah, you might get this update before you get the actual 21.4 update.
Right.
But
minor technicality. I think,
yeah.
Right? Because hopefully most people's environments you're updating on a monthly basis. As each monthly update comes out, typically most environments get updated.
Do you know how long you can wait to push up? Is it 90 days?
There is a limit. Now, I think it was, and I'm not sure if it's the monthly updates or the major ones, but I think it was at 6 months or 12 months
6 months, okay.
that they recently came out with a document.
Right.
Where they actually spelled out explicitly what are the limitations for how long you can defer your environment update. Because I think they were having people that were just continuing to defer the rollout of their updates. And that just makes it much more difficult for Microsoft to support all those different flavors.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You want to hit service releases? Or you want me to take it?
No, go for it.
All right. So the first one is getting more visibility into service interruptions. And basically this is Microsoft is going to be more proactive about informing you of service interruptions. You'll now see like an incident details pop-up message or whatever when logging in, it'll be a separate web page that'll show you the incident details if you're not able to log in. Next up, they're calling it Get More Better Communications as an admin. And this is where admins are going to receive more communications whenever Microsoft identifies issues affecting environments that require action. So for example, an extension is installed on your environment, but it's degrading performance. Microsoft will let you know. Or if your environment is using features that are going to be deprecated, Microsoft will once again let you know. Things like that. So now the thing with this is, though, the notifications are going to be posted in the Microsoft 365 Message Center. I'm not a big fan of that because
no one goes there.
Exactly, right? So I think they should be shown in Business Central. And then another one is restore deleted environments, which Ken talked about earlier. So now when you delete an environment, it's going to go into a state of what Microsoft is calling soft delete for 7 days. And during this 7 days, admins can then restore a deleted environment. I'd like to see that 7 days bumped up a little bit more because 7 days goes by pretty quick. And then you can also restore environments to a point in time, any point in time within the past 28 days, even after an update.
Yeah, and that's what's new here is that I think there was a limitation on that. If the environment had been updated, you couldn't roll back to the previous update.
Right.
Now you can.
Which is really good. And then lastly, they're calling it a restrict traffic on system integrations with service tags. So service tags support secure integration scenarios where there's a limited number of service tags allowed for incoming traffic. So basically, a service tag represents a group of IP addresses, and you can kind of monitor and limit those people to having service to certain things. Not bad. And that's it for 21.4, unless you got anything else there, Ken?
The only update is kind of related, not related directly to a update here, but recently for a specific reason, we're out there looking at there is a web page or a link out there in Microsoft Learn for Business Central that lists out all of the, I'm going to call it, I forget what they call it, like limitations on certain volumes and file sizes and things like that. So we were looking specifically at like how often could you make certain calls or what's the maximum number of rows on a page. And what we found was, for example, if you have, let's say you have 1 million posted sales invoices and you've got 100 fields on your invoice list page, and you try to use the search button up on the top, you will probably get a message that says, this search is going to take too long.
Really?
Please try to use filters or whatever. And what it is there's some embedded logic in there that looks at maximum length of a search. So if it's over 5 seconds, it realizes this could be bad.
Yeah.
So it kind of cancels it for you. Or if maybe a file size is too big to upload, right? I think 350 meg, if you're trying to upload a file, is the largest size. So what Microsoft has done, and at first you look at that and go, well, why are there all these limitations in place? The reason is because it stops people from doing stupid stuff, which will degrade the performance of the system.
Freeze
right?
it up and whatnot.
So there's all kind, whether it's a web service call frequency or upload file size or what type of search you're doing, they're proactively kind of putting guardrails around things that people could be doing in Business Central to ensure that the performance of the environment stays high for all the users of the system.
Now, when let's say you want to run that search and you get that error message that says add filters or whatever, can you override that?
The easiest way to resolve that, for example, on that specific one is just show your filter pane and do a filter. Yeah. Instead of using the search button up top. If you use the filter, you're fine. You got it. So, or reduce the number of columns you have displayed on your list page, right? Do you really, because when you do a search on a list page, it searches across every column of data on the page. So, right, you do a search for the number 100. Yeah. It's looking at the customer number, the customer name, the contact, the phone number, the posting group, right? Whatever those columns are. That can take a long time if you've got 1 million posted sales invoices out there, right? So you're maybe better off doing a more focused filter on a specific field.
I mean, it all makes sense to me. It sounds like it's like good ideas. I mean, it might upset some users at first just because it's an extra step or two.
Yeah. But overall, though, you have to have an appreciation for the fact that these are things that didn't exist in on-premise versions or older versions that would result in a lot of user dissatisfaction,
right?
Because all of a sudden the system is slow as heck.
Yeah, it freezes. You can't do anything right. Yeah.
Hey, what's happening? The system's slow. I can't do my job. Well, the frequency of those types of things happening has dropped substantially.
Yeah, it's minimal now.
Yeah, because of these guardrails, I'll call them, that Microsoft's put in bumpers, or what do you call it? Yeah. When you're bowling, bumper.
Oh yeah, for the kids, you mean?
Yeah.
Bumper guards, whatever.
If you go bowling, they put the little things.
The things they pull from the bumper guards or whatever. Yeah, gutter guards.
So it kind of keeps everything rolling straight.
It's a good analogy, but it's also bad. Make us all feel like kids over here.
Good. Yeah, it's for your own good. Shut up and take it.
Oh, too funny. All right, what else we got here to talk about? DynamicsCon, which are you presenting at DynamicsCon?
Yes, I am. Yeah, we're talking about service, the different types, the different ways that you can record service activities, whether in Business Central or potentially out of Business Central.
Are you doing co-hosting with somebody else, or is this by yourself?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We've got flying solo on that one, and then there's also.
It's in May, right? Sorry.
Yeah, May 22nd. That's in Phoenix. Also, if you are a Dynamics NAV or Business Central partner, there is a Directions Partner Conference April 16th through the 19th in Orlando, and then also the User Community Summit, I believe, is in October in Charlotte. So
nice.
Some fun destinations. Everyone's, I think, used to going. Well, maybe everyone's used to going to Orlando. That's probably for sure. Yeah. But Phoenix would be nice. Be a little bit warm, but not too warm at the end of May. And then Charlotte in October should be beautiful.
That's different, I think, right?
Yeah, that's a
unique venue.
I think the first Dynamics conference of recent vintage that's been held in Charlotte, at least. Nice. At least for Business Central related folk. Yep. So.
All right. Now we get to talk about the new Bridge to Cloud promo. Have you heard about it? Sure you have.
Let's explain. So what is the Bridge to the Cloud promo? So obviously Microsoft is trying to encourage people that are running on-premise versions of NAV and Business Central to move to Business Central Online.
Encourage is a kind word.
Yeah, well, yeah. And there's benefits, right? There's benefits too. But it's a lot of work, right? And a lot of effort, but anyways, so what they've done is that they know companies have been paying the annual enhancement plan for years, like 10, 20 years in many cases. And now they're looking at going to Business Central Online, and now it's named user and it's subscription based. Yeah. So how do you put those two things together and go, well, you've been paying enhancement plan for all this time, and so you deserve something if you move to the cloud. So that is the bridge to the cloud promo. And I don't know exactly. I'm assuming it relates to GP clients, NAV clients, SL, even F&O, right, to get them online. And in a nutshell, what it means is if you are planning on moving to Business Central Online,
keywords.
Planning on, right.
If you're planning on moving to BC,
you can, instead of renewing your enhancement plan like you usually do, you can sign up for this promo. And when you sign up through the promo, you will effectively be purchasing Business Central Online licenses at a 40% discount.
Yep.
For each named user. Now you have to buy enough users on Business Central Online so that your annual payment stays the same or is higher. But you lock in that 40% discount for a 3-year period.
Right.
So this is to help you transition into the...
plus what's nice is, like you said, you're taking your yearly enhancement plan and you're splitting it up in 12-month payments.
Correct.
So you don't have to pay it all at once.
Yep.
But you do get locked in for 3 years. So
it is it's a 3-year commitment.
Yeah, there's no going back. You can't say after 1 year I don't want to do this because it's a 3-year commitment.
Yeah. So there's some fine print, definitely you want to be sure you're aware of on there. But if you're sitting there today and you're in Business Central on premise or NAV on premise and you're looking to go to BC Online within the next 3 years, definitely want to take advantage of this promo.
Absolutely.
So that you can leverage the enhancement plan you've been paying to make sure that you get a 40% discount.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
Absolutely. And speaking of people who upgrade to the cloud, a lot of people have some performance questions about when they upgrade to the cloud, right, Ken? They're always wondering, if I go to the cloud, is performance going to be good? Is there going to be downtime? What about, speeds of the browser and whatnot? And what have you what have you been seeing with different customers and whatnot, whether it's a 20 customer Business Central user or 200?
There's legitimate concerns, right? I mean, we kind of started this whole Business Central Online journey, air quotes, right? About 3 to 4 years. 4 years ago. April 2019, right? Was
coming up on 4 years.
Coming up on 4 years since like the big, first version out there, and I think rightfully so. A lot of end users who've been out there, they're running on premise. They're concerned. What is the performance going to be like, right? Like when you're running on premise, you've got the servers there, or you have a cloud server or data center, but you have control over how much resources are allocated. And if it's slow, you can add more. But when Microsoft's hosting it for you, you kind of have to just hope that they're going to allocate enough resources to make sure that the performance is suitable. Mm-hmm. And when you get into databases that are 100 gig or more, or you have 100 users or more, right? This is legit, right? That's a legit concern. So over the past several years, we have helped implement, whether fresh implementations to Business Central Online or upgrades from NAV at various different user levels, right? And usually what you may have seen in NAV on premise is if you have 100 users, there's certain things you don't do because you know that if you do it, you're going to get a bunch of locking messages.
Really?
Because too many people are trying to do too much at the same time, and you don't have enough resources allocated and performance for it, right? So, looking at it at 4 levels, So 20 users, 50 users, 100 users, and 200 users. We have seen virtually no performance degradation at any user count. So the pages refresh just as quickly.
Yep.
The reports run just as quickly. However, right? A lot of people don't want to maybe know how the sausage is being made, but however Microsoft is monitoring the performance of each Business Central Online tenant, they're doing a good job of it, because we have rarely, if never, seen locking issues, or that the wheel just sitting there and spinning. Occasionally it does happen if you do something you shouldn't have been doing in the first place, like setting some crazy filters on calculated fields or something, right? But in general, it's been amazing, really, for us to see that when a customer goes live, right? And think about an implementation, right? Let's say you have 100 users. Up until you go live, what's the most number of users you ever had in there at one time? 20? Maybe 50?
Right.
And all of a sudden you go live and you have 100 users all working away.
Correct, yeah.
You expect some slowness there.
Yeah.
Right?
There's nothing.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Which is spectacular.
So I actually wrote a blog post on this a little while ago, which we'll link to in the show notes and on the video and whatnot. And I just want to read the first paragraph because it gives a little bit of background about how Microsoft does this. So when all businesses use Business Central and sign up for it, it creates an Azure database at sign up. Microsoft then creates a compute tier with an intelligent load balancer within this Azure database. So this tier then includes a cluster comprised of 5 virtual machines, and as Business Central begins to utilize more and more resources from Microsoft, their intelligent load balancer balances out the load and provides more resources to whichever tenant needs it. I know it's a little technical or whatever, but in the blog post I break it all down and whatnot and how it works.
Nice.
So there's really no difference between a company that has 400 users or a company that has 10 users. They should run exactly the same. And Microsoft, we talked about this before, Microsoft will not put a definition to what they consider a big business to be because of this. So Microsoft feels 500 is the same as a company running 10 users.
Well, that's very true, because if you think about it, you could have a company that has 10 users that has $500 million in revenue because they sell some high-priced products.
Yeah, luxury yachts.
Jewelry, right? Large farm equipment. Or you could have a 200 user environment with low volume. Same thing, right? Maybe you've got 200 users, but you're doing 20 orders a day. Right? Or opposite, I should have said. 10 users with 1,000 orders a day.
Yeah.
That you're importing from a website and you're having to process 1,000 orders or 5,000 orders a day. That could be 5 to 10 users.
Yeah.
So how do you judge what
you can't.
What a large or what a mid-size or what a small business is?
It's just got to be based on.
It's a combination of users and transaction volume.
Yeah, just on how much hardware you're using or whatever you want to call it.
Like you said, load. The ultimate load on that Business Central environment, right?
Yeah, I'm kudos to Microsoft. I think when Business Central first came to fruition in 2019, everybody thought the same thing. Eventually it's going to be kind of lower. It's slower and slower. But Microsoft has proven us wrong in every single way.
And those 4 numbers that I gave you, by the way, were all companies that have deployed Business Central within the last quarter here. So
we know
20, 50, 100, 200.
Yeah. So we know that there's no performance issues. All right. Well, I think that's all I've got for news. You got anything left for some BC news?
That's all, folks.
Well, next up then we're going to talk about a Microsoft Bing app that is free for Business Central users. So stick around. We are back for the featured app review, and today we're going to be taking a look at bingmaps.appsource. That's the actual name, created by Microsoft. I'm not sure why.
Great name.
Yeah, should just call it maybe Bing Maps for BC or something. But what this app does is, I guess you could say it extends the out-of-the-box functionality just a little bit for Business Central. So right now when you go into Business Central, Ken, what can you do with Maps?
Yeah, so out of the box, without this app that we're talking about today, you can, for example, go to a customer or a vendor or other record that has an address on it. And what you'll see is on the address fast tab, a show on map link. And when you click the show on map link, you can, a little box pops up and you can say show this address or directions from my location, which would be your company information address, or directions from other. And you could say from my company to my company from other address. And when you select other address, you could say, how do I get to this customer from my bank? Or how do I get to this customer from another customer? Or from a job or from a location or a vendor or a ship to address or an order address. So some directions, basically really to and from any record in your Business Central environment. You could do a directions. And keep in mind, if you're on your app, on your phone, you could be in your car on your way from one customer to another customer, and you just use this functionality to give you the map directions in Bing Maps on how to get there.
But can you see the map in Business Central?
No.
Oh my God, what a waste. So you download this app, bingmaps.appsource, or not this map, this app, bingmaps.appsource, tongue twister. And this will actually put a little map of and show you the address inside the fact box pane within Business Central. And underneath it, you can do get directions and whatnot from there. The thing is, when you click get directions from there, it's not as good as when you click get directions from under the show me map, because the show me one, like Ken was talking about, says, do you want it from this current location or whatnot? This one opens up a new web browser page, and you have to actually type in your location where you want to get directions from. So a little bit different. Setup was relatively easy. You download it. I had to go into the Bing Maps Development Center and create a free account to get a basic key to add to the Bing Maps setup. And one of the things that it claims it does, which I think it could be very useful for certain businesses, is it's going to add 2 extra fields to the customer card. It's going to add a latitude and longitude field. Yeah, the thing with that is, though, on mine, it did not add the fields, and I could not find it anywhere. And we searched and wasn't there. So I don't know if it has something to do with I use the free basic key or whatnot. Maybe I have to do a paid key for that. Ken suggested earlier, maybe he knows that you're in a sandbox environment. But, then again, who
now,
knows?
is this also, is the validate address button that was in there, is that from this app? So it actually validates your address to make sure it's like a legit.
I don't know if it's from this app, but I ran it. It didn't do anything. And then within the actual setup, I ran the geocoding process. Because before I ran the geocoding process, the map appeared on the customer card, but it didn't link to the actual address on the customer card. So I had to run the whole geocoding process, and it took, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or whatever I'd say. And then it finally linked and showed the spot on the app that corresponded with the customer's address.
I gotcha. Okay.
Tried everything. Tried adding fields, looking for fields. Cannot find the latitude and longitude field. So,
but you get the little fact box over like where the customer picture typically is, over on the right side of a customer card or a list. The visual map. You can click on it.
Zoom in and whatnot. Yeah, you can click on it. It'll expand. But overall, without those two fields being to be added,
well, it's it's a visual of the map. So now, how much do you have to pay for this?
It was free.
Okay.
The app was free.
So, no harm, no foul, right?
Yeah, no harm, no foul, I guess.
I want to see a visual of the customer's their area where they're at. I can see it right on my customer card.
I don't know. So let's create a new rating scale: thumbs down, thumbs up, or what do they call the medium? Thumbs. I don't know. I'd have to go right in the middle. Not great without the fields working, but it's not terrible because it does add the map or whatnot. So I'm
going to give it a thumbs up because it does add something for nothing.
Okay.
Right?
That's one way to look at it.
It adds the visual, the little map on the fact box for free.
But it took me 10 minutes to set up.
Oh, it did. Yeah, you did have to create a Bing Maps key and set that up and run this process to generate the geocodes and everything. So,
but not bad. All right, Ken gives it a thumbs up. I'm going to give it just a regular thumbs in the middle. Wherever.
I mean, you gotta try real hard to get a thumbs down on a free app from me. Right?
Well,
it just doesn't work.
It can't work. Yeah, exactly. With this, they kind of,
it half works.
Overpromised and underdelivered a little bit, though.
A little bit, yeah.
But it could be my fault too.
Yeah.
So, but if it had the latitude and longitude fields, definitely a thumbs up.
Yeah, because there's value in that. There's things you can do with that, right?
Yeah.
There also was a feature, wasn't there, where you can
view all your customers.
View all your customers on a map.
Didn't work in mine though.
Ooh.
It was there to select, but it was grayed out. So
that's like a kick in the jimmy.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not that bad, but I don't know if it's because of the key or whatnot. But I don't know too much about web development keys for Bing.
I try to avoid it. Learning about it if I can.
Yeah. Well, you're a Bing guy too.
Oh yeah. It's my home page in my browser.
Yeah, loving that ChatGPT integration, huh?
No, I don't have that on. I like browsing search results and looking at researching information and coming to my own decisions.
Nice.
Call me crazy.
All right. Well, that about does it. But we got to rate our beers, and I'm going to try to guess Ken's rating here.
Okay.
If I had to pick what Ken is going to rate his beer at, I'm going to go with 68.
Ooh, pretty close. Pretty
close?
71.
Oh, wow. Higher than what I thought.
71. Right somewhere between a spotted cow and a summer shandy.
Nice. That's interesting, actually. I like this beer, so I'm going 76. I think it's actually would pair well with some Irish stew or corned beef and cabbage and whatnot. But definitely a good beer. Good color, good smell.
So let's see. Let's do a little bit of research here on you. So 76. So
call me out.
Yeah. So 77 was a Budweiser.
Yeah, it's about right, I guess. Yeah.
And a 75 was Groove Grove.
I liked Groove Grove. You didn't like it though. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now I would take a Budweiser on a summer day over this, but in wintertime I would definitely take this over the Budweiser. So
all right.
It's right about
You're
there.
right. You're right on.
And just for full disclosure, Ken cheats, pulls up his Excel spreadsheet with all his ratings.
Is that cheating?
I don't know. He gets persuaded by.
No, I feel like I made a fool of myself early on when I would rate one beer, at a certain level, and then the next one, and then I looked at it after the fact, like, wait, what?
Yeah,
I thought this one was better than this one. Yeah, I re-ranked mine a few months ago. Official new re-ranking system.
Yeah. But all in all, pretty good beer, especially for an Irish ale.
Yeah, I like it. Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody.
Absolutely. So, all right, with that, don't forget to share the podcast, send it to your friends, and all that good stuff. Next month, we are going to be interviewing Soren Fries Alexander. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. He's a principal product manager from Microsoft with Business Central. So we are looking forward to that. So, and then Ken, take us home.
Should be a fun conversation. We'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
As we end today's podcast, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who listens, shares this podcast, and leaves us reviews. You've taken a good amount of your time out of your day, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks again. And don't be afraid to email us at marketing@solsyst.com with your tips for the podcast, or maybe you'd even like to be a guest during an episode.